Hey guys, this is Nick with Heart of Farm, and today I am going to show you an amazing, life-changing hack. You might think this is funny, but it's really not. I'm going to show you how to read a tape measure. These FatMax tape measures, they're pretty expensive, about 20 bucks for one of these, but you don't have to spend $20 on a tape measure to get one that works. So let's just get right into it. It's black little clips, and every tape measure, it moves. What on earth is that about? See the movement? It moves to make up the difference for the thickness of this hook. So if you hook it on a board this way, it'll extend out, and if you put it this way, it'll push in to make up the difference for the thickness of that little guy. Yeah, never understood why that's there. All right, let's get into this. I'm gonna have to move my tape measure again. I'm gonna have to move my camera again. Zoom in on the tape measure. There we go. All right, so you see we have 1 inch increments, right? It goes all the way up. Tape measures come in feet in America. I don't know how it works anywhere else, but here's your 1 foot mark. You've got a nice arrow for 1 foot. So let's just jump right in to an inch, and what on earth are all of these lines for? All right, so this is 1 inch. From this line, you'd say 5 inches, 6 inches. So that's 1 inch there. Let's just look in between here real quick. So we've got all these little lines. You might wonder, what on earth are all these for? There are 16 of them. So each inch, broken up into 16 increments. And you count 1, 2, you'd say 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, all the way to 13/16. There's 14, 15, and 16. But you don't say 2/16 or 14/16. Because if you remember in math, yes, this stuff does come in handy. The stuff you learn in school, trust me, it does come in handy. So listen. Yeah, so we're here. 1/16, 2/16. Remember, since it's 2/16, it's 1/8. So your next biggest line next to the 16th is 1/8 of an inch. So you'd read 1/8, 3/8, 5/8, 7/8. That's how you read tape measures. Because you wouldn't say 2/8, because what's 2/8? That's 1/4. There are 4 quarters in an inch. Okay, so you'd say 1/4, 3/4. The biggest line there, because you'd say 1/2 of an inch, that's broken down in 2 halves. Does that make sense? So you got 16ths, you've got 8ths, you've got quarters, and you've got half. So when you go to read a tape measure and say your board ends right here, you would say 5 1/4. 5 1/4. So you have to memorize what each of these lines is for. So little ones, remember, are 16ths. The next biggest up are 8ths. The next biggest up are quarters. And then your next one is your half. So you have to remember 1/8, quarter, 3/8, a half, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, 1 inch. Those are, you pretty much just need to memorize those. Go through there. And if you come to a half, but your board ends right here, or whatever you're measuring, well, how many 8ths are in a half? Take 16 divided by 2, you have 8, right? So you have 8/16. Oh, that's just 9/16. Basics. There are guys I know that they don't even read the 16ths. They'll go to the nearest 8th. So say if their board ends here, they would say 5 3/8 strong. So you just add a 16th of an inch. So really, you can, I mean, depending on who you're working with, the 16ths of an inch, like, you don't really need to memorize all those. Just practice on memorizing the 1/8 of an inch. The 8th increments, 1/8, quarter, 3/8, half, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, 1 inch. So let's look at a couple things real quick. We'll measure them, and I'll kind of show you how we read them. All right, let's look at this board right here. This is just a normal 2x4. You throw your tape measure on there. It's not 4 inches. it's 3.5 inches. 2x4s are like that. They're kind of weird. We don't need to go into the reason why today, but you would call that 3.5 inches. Let's find something a little more difficult. All right, let's look at this fence for this table saw, because it's a little different. It is 1 5/8 of an inch. That's how you'd say that, 1 5/8. So guys, I guess that's really all I have for you, other than I encourage you, grab a tape measure. Your mom or dad, if you're a young person, will have one around. Everybody needs a tape measure. You just have to have one, and you have to know how to use it. So grab a tape measure, start measuring stuff, measure your iPhone, measure your shoes, whatever, but get used to reading these without having to count them. And I guarantee you, if you show up to a job site as a young person with a can-do attitude and you work hard and you know how to read this thing, you will impress some people. And it will help you to get a better paying job in the end. If you don't plan on going to college, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't. If you want to go to college, do. That's good. But if you plan on going into the trades, basic skills like this will set you above some of the other people that are walking in and have no clue. And I've worked with people like that. There are people like that around. I was trying to tell my wife this last night. She's like, no, people know how to read a tape measure. I've worked with people when I was a pipe welder that didn't know how to read a tape measure. So young people, grab one of these and it could change your life. Learning how to read a tape measure, basic skills, can set you up for the future in ways that we don't even think about. I encourage you, get a tape measure, start using it. See you on the next video. Hit like, subscribe down below, and share this video. There are people who need to know. Thanks guys, see you later.